Did the African country of Niger just suspend exports of gold? Hey everyone, thanks for watching Yankee Stacking. There was a coup last week, I don't know if you heard about this, in Niger. And there are reports that that country is saying no gold for you, no uranium either. Now, I'm recording this on Thursday, August 3rd, and as of today, there hasn't been any official declaration by the country of Niger on this report. But would this kind of news really surprise anyone?
You want my gold, I want your silver. End of deal. Take what you want, I take what I want. And the American dollar is going aside. And the arrogance of the Americans, the bulliness of the Americans. We are going to be reaching a time right now in Zimbabwe where all the gold that was stolen by the Europeans is going to come back to Africa. We don't want some pieces of paper. Gold. You want iron ore and manganese? Bars of gold. You want our flowers? Bars of gold.
Guys, I think commodities are increasingly going to be weaponized around the world, meaning nations, especially BRICS nations, are not just going to give their natural resources, whatever they are, for depreciating US dollars. That's why I stack silver and gold. That's why I got this 1 ounce gold bar from SD Bullion. I got this for 1% over spot, guys. I actually found it by Googling for it. You know, best deal on gold. Boom. I got this bar, and it is a gorgeous Britannia bar. Oh, love that. So check out SD Bullion for your gold and silver needs. And I've talked about how gold is being repatriated in huge numbers by nations all around the world, but other commodities are at risk too. Oil, lithium, cobalt, uranium. That brings me back to Niger. Listen up, America and Europe. We're all at high risk with regards to uranium. Now, I'm not a professional financial advisor, but I do personally invest in uranium, and it's been doing great for me. And I've asked Lester Esteban, CEO of Traction Uranium, to talk to us about the risks to the US and EU with regards to this commodity. Welcome, Lester. Thank you so much for joining Yankee Stacking.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great. I'm excited to be on your show, to talk to your viewers and to all your listeners. And, I'm excited to share my story with all of you.
I mentioned in my intro that Niger witnessed a coup, and there were reports that their gold and uranium exports were going to be halted. Now, whether that's verified or not, Lester, why should this type of report concern us?
When you're looking at the three biggest producers, you're looking at Kazakhstan, who supplies about 40% of uranium in the world. Then, of course, Canada, Namibia, and then Niger is, of course, one of those major suppliers, with Orano being a major producer out there. So if you look at the time it takes one purchaser to purchase fuel rods for their power plant to keep the lights going, they may have a 2 to 4 year window. So there is unrest. Our thoughts and prayers goes. I hope everything goes well out there in Niger. But when you're talking about stability of nuclear power and nuclear energy, that long ordering horizon does help out the whole thesis for nuclear power, nuclear energy being able to supply baseload power.
I read something that really stunned me, Lester. I think it said close to a quarter of the EU gets their uranium from that one little country, Niger. Is that true?
Yeah, it's about, almost 24%, right? So it's a substantial bit that comes out of that little place. So, each gigawatt of increased capacity will require about another additional 150 tons of uranium per year. And that's according to the World Nuclear Association. So, supply is delicate. And when countries are looking at this, for example, Niger supplying almost 24% of EU's requirements, it is really important when you're looking at where are you sourcing your uranium. It should be in a nice, safe jurisdiction well, first of all, 10% of global electricity comes from nuclear, right? And almost half comes from a single provider for the US, and that's Kazakhstan.
Oh yeah,
So,
that doesn't.
I'm a joke,
Oh no.
a former Russian state.
Yep.
And with the crisis that's currently going on in Ukraine, the US really is almost 25% of the world's uranium consumption. So it's very important that, the Inflation Reduction Act that was recently put into the US, billions of dollars being poured into it, restarting the actual uranium supply cycle that's in the US, and also looking to friendly jurisdictions such as Canada.
I've made some good returns on my uranium investments already, Lester, and I think more is coming. I
Yeah,
hope. But
yeah.
talk to us briefly about your company, Traction Uranium, and why viewers should check you out.
Yeah, so we have three exciting projects in Canada's Athabasca Basin. We have our Key Lake South project, which is bordering next to Cameco, and it's just less than 7 kilometers from Cameco's Key Lake mill. So the world's one of premier operating uranium mills. So the Athabasca Basin is just a beast. Our purity, our average grades are 10 to 20 times the international purity. So we just got really, really high grades of uranium here. Our other project is Hardy Bay, and that's a joint venture with F3 Corp, or formerly Fission 3 Uranium. And another one is Grease River, up in the northern part of the Athabasca Basin. So we got some great, exciting projects that we're, working on, and we can't wait to get back to it again back in the wintertime.
Who owns the majority of your company's shares right now?
About between 35 to 40% are founders and strategic partners. Another over 50% for sure is institutional high net worth investors. So those are where your funds come in, your Maple Leaf, your Sprott, those ones. And then, our JV partner, Fission 3, is about 8%. So a very tight share structure, which believes in our story, and, they understand what we're trying to do out in the basin.
That's great. Traction Uranium's ticker symbol, it's right on the screen. It's TRCTF on the over-the-counter markets for us Americans. TRAC on the Canadian Stock Exchange. Check them out. At least put them on your watch list. And remember, it's a speculative play. People, please do your own research before making any investment decisions. Lester, how can people get in touch with you if they have more questions?
Yeah, so you just go on to our site, tractionuranium.com. There's a contact us form on there as well. And, as I said, the best way to keep up is to just follow our news releases. We have a good amount of news flow that's coming out over the next few months.
Excellent. I'll put all that info in the description of this video.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me, Lester.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having us. And we hope your viewers enjoyed the show.